Hey, I hope everyone is doing well and staying safe. Recently, VG247 and other sites announced that Ubisoft is planning to announce Far Cry 6 at the Ubisoft Forward event on July 12th, along with gameplay from AC Valhalla and other big games Ubisoft is making. Possibly Beyond Good and Evil 2 as well. Remember Beyond Good and Evil 2? Of course you don't. Ubisoft doesn't even remember that game.
How come you suck?
I lack confidence.
Fine, jeez. No more jokes. There is a bit of news to go over regarding Far Cry 6. So without further ado, let's begin. According to Game Reactor, Far Cry 6 will please those that didn't like Far Cry 5's US setting. People believe it will take place in a tropical or exotic location, similar to 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now an interesting tidbit is that in a Reddit AMA, Michael Mandow, the man who voiced Voss, was asked if he is still recognized as Voss. His response was, "Thank you so much. Voss is my spirit animal. Having co-created that character is something that will always be dear to me. I still get recognized as Voss, and still feel the outpouring of love for that character. Makes me very happy. Who knows? Maybe I will reprise that role very soon. Thank you for watching." He of course may have been joking. I'm sure Ubisoft would have made him sign some sort of NDA. However, there is a chance he may have fucked up. Or they didn't make him sign anything, and the game will be a prequel. If this is true, I have mixed feelings. I love the tropical world of Far Cry 3, and Voss is probably my favorite villain in the series. It would be interesting to see how Voss rose to the position he was in Far Cry 3, and what happened to Voss on that island that made him the disturbed man he was. If Ubisoft does decide to go this route, I suspect we will play as Voss. In the beginning we are normal. However, throughout our journey, Voss begins to become the man we know and fear. A cool route would be maybe he was sold off to traders as a kid. Or maybe he was a young rich kid who wanted to escape his mundane life and chose the life of a monster. Egypt would be a great setting for Far Cry 6. However, with Origins, it isn't likely. The chance to explore Egyptian culture, skydive off pyramids, and fight thousand-year-old mummies would be extremely fun. Throw a great villain in there, and you have yourself a promising Far Cry game. South Pacific. If Michael accidentally leaked that Voss is returning, then this is the most likely location. We have been here before, so Ubisoft will have to reinvigorate the island. Maybe it was a utopia full of happy locals and tourists. The natural beauty of the South Pacific and introduction of new islands could lend itself well. Japan. This location has never been explored in a Far Cry game. Instead of Tokyo, what if it takes place in a small town or village? Or better yet, what if it's set in the past? You could be a farmer or a merchant. One day you get into a fight with someone and find out they are of high nobility. They want you dead and slaughter your family. You escape to gather new allies, abilities, and skills, and return to get your revenge. Of course, this idea isn't the best, but with time to flesh it out and it properly written, I'm sure it would be fun. Alaska. This will most likely not happen. However, if Ubisoft chooses this location, I think they can create a story that captures the quirkiness of the series, but also offers a tale that makes you feel and think. Here is an idea I thought of that might work. The game is set in the 1960s and opens up to you and your friend on a hunting trip. When you arrive in this town, you are told you can't hunt in the mountains, because the government has closed it off due to radiation. You go to examine the mountain yourself. When you do, you realize the opening is covered with a mountain of ice. Instead of leaving, you guys break the ice and enter. At first, you believed you were right, that this was all made up by the government. You two then split up and look around. This is where you take control of the second character. After walking for a bit, you see a woman sitting on a log, looking out into the water. You go up to her, and she turns around, revealing that flesh has been removed from the left side of her face, revealing bone. You then switch back to the main character and hear a scream. You go to where it came from and see blood in the snow. Following the trail, you find the skeletal remains of your friend. Here's where you see the main antagonist, a young man in his early 20s whose flesh is removed from the right side of his arm. Other corpse-looking people join him, and he is informed that they can finally leave, and they make their way to the village. Far Cry has always been a game about the antagonist. I was thinking during the Second World War the government tried to experiment and create super soldiers that couldn't die. They had to keep this under wraps, so they went to a small village to gather their recruits. If it failed, no one would know, and if the experiment worked, they would certainly win the war. The experiment was thought to be a failure, and the few selected were allowed to go back home. Instead of being free, the soldiers decided to come back and murder everyone in the village. As if what they did got out, there would be riots and chaos. The government then sealed a barrier cutting off the village from the world, and claimed radiation or another excuse for doing so. However, the experiments did work, and the few recruits woke up and saw their murdered family. The people who were experimented on are not inherently bad. In fact, most just want to live the life that was stolen from them. However, they need to eat meat. If they don't, they experience immense starvation without dying. Some want to die as they don't want to exist as monsters, and others want revenge for what happened to them. Our main antagonist could be slightly naive in the beginning, and neutral to the killings his family are committing. However, during the game he begins to change. I don't want to waste your time, but I think this could work, especially with humor. The new technology could scare and anger the walking corpses, as they have no clue what it is. It could also be sad, as they come to terms with the fact that they will never see their loved ones again, and were never given the chance to grow up. During an earnings call, Ubisoft revealed they want to release 5 games between April 2020 and March 2021. Far Cry is usually released in the spring, so I see the game, if not delayed, being released in February or March. Far Cry, along with Assassin's Creed, have become Ubisoft's flagship franchises. I didn't love 5, however Far Cry 3 showed the series has the potential to be excellent. If not rushed, and they have a clear vision, I believe Ubisoft has the potential to create something special.